When I train for American Ninja Warrior, I schedule regular workouts to stay in shape.
To keep my car in Ninja Tough shape, I head to a Napa Auto Care Center for regular maintenance and genuine Napa Auto parts.
Like brakes and batteries. I trust my Napa Auto Care Center for quality parts and quality service.
And with the 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty, I drive away with peace of mind every time.
Visit AutoCareNM.com to find a location near you.
The Barley Brew, a proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
All-new Gala Chevrolet, our ultimate goal is to make life easier for you. That's why we built our new ultra-modern facility from the ground up with the customer in mind. With 1,000 vehicles in stock, a great variety of pre-owned vehicles of every make and model, a clean, state-of-the-art service department focused on getting you back on the road as quickly as possible, and a sales team devoted to 100% customer satisfaction. All conveniently located in the heart of Albuquerque. We'll see you soon, right here at the all-new Gala Chevrolet.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that could happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Yes, it's Red Menace TV here on Proview Networks. Not the Destiny Wrestling Show, though we did bring one of the best parts of Destiny Wrestling. Possibly, no, the best part of Destiny Wrestling, DWO, Hobo Hank in. Good friend of ours. We were able to pull him out of his comfortable housing unit there behind the Frontier Restaurant to come in and say hello to us and talk about the upcoming matches going on.
Yeah, you could have pulled me in on a cold day. It's nice outside today, man. It's always good to see you guys. I appreciate you having me back. Thank you.
So Hank, Hobo Hank, for those of you that haven't been to a DWO show or listened to the Christian and Edge podcast,
yeah,
or saw him on Twitter, saw him on Facebook, saw him in various magazines. Yeah. You're becoming a big superstar now, huh?
Well, I don't know if big is a word or superstar is a word, but no, I've definitely, man, had a really good 2017. I cannot complain. I think last time I was here was at the beginning of last year, right? I just won the DWO Heavyweight Championship, and I said, man, 2016 is going to be really hard to top, and I was wrong. You know, we crushed it. It's been a really fantastic year for all of us at DWO.
So we have some breaking news, obviously, as far as for DWO fans, anyone that's what's the date of the show, Michael?
It's February 24th. A brand new location too, the Cesar Chavez Community Center off of Catherine. So a little bit bigger venue for you guys. I know the last few shows at the old place, I mean, it was packed. It was like literally pretty much turning people away.
Yeah, again, I mean, it's just been such a whirlwind of a year with. You know, I wrestled in a row. I wrestled Rob Conway from WWE, Tommy Dreamer from WWE, and then a couple months later, Sin Bodhi from WWE. Yeah. Sold that arena out all 3 times. So it's time to move on to a bigger place, that holds more fans. And from what I'm hearing, online's already sold out, front and second row, and general admission is going very quick.
So for those that don't know, and like I said, we had a little bit of breaking news. You will be wrestling the Blue Meanie.
I will. So yeah, another WWE and ECW alumni, the Blue Meanie. That'll be me and him that night. So I'm looking forward to climbing in the ring with him and seeing what he's made of.
I'm starting to detect a trend here. Whenever a big former WWE, ECW superstar comes in, they wind up wrestling you.
I have nothing to do with that. I just show up and do what I'm told. But it's an honor, always an honor to get to step in the ring with those guys. And honestly, I think it's because I'm old, I'm out of shape. I couldn't possibly hurt them and end a career. So no, it's cool. I'm looking forward to. I've never worked on a show with Blue Meanie before, so yeah, come on out and check it out. I think it'll be a really good time for everybody.
So for those that did, of course, let's see, the last show here locally was November, is that right?
Yeah, October, yeah.
October, excuse me, that's right. What have you been doing since October until now?
Well, October, Day of Destiny 10, that was a rough match. That was Chad Thomas and I in the West Texas death match. Barbed wire, thumbtacks, a lot of blood. But another sold out event, so end of the year on a real high note. I ran out to, for the first time, I hadn't been on the road in a long time. I got a little itchy and was ready to do that once again. So I headed out to Lubbock, Texas, and I wrestled for Squared Circle Pro Wrestling. Did a show there back, I think that was in November. And this weekend, this Saturday coming up, the 10th, I'll be in La Mesa, Texas, debuting at South Plains Championship Wrestling. So I'll actually be wrestling Chad Thomas out there a little closer to his hometown.
Another trend I'm noticing, whether it's a West Texas death match, you mentioned last time you were here was right after the ladder match with Johnny K. Also a lot of matches with brutality.
There are a lot of matches. Yeah, maybe they're trying to get rid of me. I don't know what the deal is, but no, I don't have any problem doing those kind of things. I think the entertainment value is worth the risk. And I certainly hope the fans thought the same. I'll never forget that match. I had a great time, and maybe not right then, but looking back, I value the work that went into that. So I hope everybody else did as well.
Well, definitely checking out, the Facebook, the wrestling, the local wrestling Facebook page. Everyone was just giving you guys mad props on all these matches. Obviously, you're a definite fan favorite here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I know that there's scavenger hunts trying to get to the back of the frontier, trying to find you. And I'm curious, when you go on the road, like you said, do you drag the dumpster with you, or do you just find other accommodations in these different areas?
Well, you do what you can. A lot of hitchhiking, I guess. And,
sure.
Well, I mean, ever since and this is no joke, ever since the Edge and Christian podcast, I've been getting tweets. I've probably been offered a dozen couches to sleep on, to wrestle anywhere from Seattle to Vegas to Orlando, Florida. So making a lot of new friends across the nation. It's pretty cool.
And how crazy is that? You keep talking about how you're old and washed up. You're not, but you're not a young man just starting out in the business either. Literally, the international notoriety you gained off of the Edge and Christian podcast, how crazy is that?
It was completely unexpected. I knew I was wrestling Tommy Dreamer. That was a big deal. I knew that was going to be a moment of a lifetime. I did not know he had anything to do with the Edge and Christian podcast. I'd never heard it before. So I had no preconceived notion going into that anything like that could happen. It all just came by surprise, and the next day, social media, I'm just waking up to tweets and follows and messages, and it took me a couple hours to unravel what was even going on. So, but yeah, to be a part of that was really cool, and I appreciate everything those guys have done for me. And to go back on the show again afterwards was another great experience. So hopefully we haven't seen the end of our relationship. We all kind of keep in touch. So yeah, it's good stuff.
So I mean, you've been in wrestling now how many years? 20?
Actually, this July will be 22.
22 years in wrestling. You were there before and now, and now obviously the advent of social media, and that obviously has changed stuff. But what differences have you seen from when you first started out till now? I mean, is it different? I mean, not just how you approach it, but just the entire business. And like Mike was kind of alluding to about, all of a sudden you're getting tweets from all over the place. I mean, what other changes has there been in the 22 years?
Well, there's been a lot of changes. I mean, when I first started, just for example, just to get your gear, there was only 2 or 3 places that sold gear. You couldn't go online and order wrestling boots and fancy robes. You had to know who
Like
to get
you
them
do
from.
now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, like I've come across, right?
You're jamming. I mean, where do we get stuff like that?
Well, like I said, you couldn't get them back then. So, yeah, if I'd have started a couple years later, I might look like Ric Flair. Man. You know, that's huge. The way you go about getting trained is different. Now there's all these schools and academies, and you go online, write a check, and people will teach you. Back then, you had to find somebody that knew what they were doing, and then you had to prove to them that you were worthy of learning the craft. It's like a magician. They weren't going to let you in and just show you what we do. So you had to earn your stripes the old-fashioned hard way. I got beat up a lot. And, you know, then, of course, just the promoting the shows and getting booked. Nowadays, you know, I get messages from all over the country. Would you like to work this show? Here's how much. And it's very easy. Again, back then, it had to be somebody vouching for you, or you had to be putting in the legwork to get those shows booked. And every night was almost an audition for your next night, because the promoter from the next show was at that show looking at what you're doing. So I don't know. I don't want to say kids these days have it easy. It's different. So there's more. It's saturated. I would say when I started, there was like maybe 8 wrestlers in the whole state of New Mexico, and I might be being generous with that number. Whereas now, you know, there's a good 40 of us or more just in this state alone. So, you know, there's pros and cons to it, but I'm trying to learn how to adapt. So hobohank.com, that's a thing now, website. Of course, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. The Real Hobo Hank is Facebook, and Hobo Hank ABQ is my Twitter account. So just trying to stay with the times, stay relevant, and ride this wave as long as I can.
Only in America can a man who lives in the dumpster behind the Frontier restaurant have social media and a website and be able to access it.
Well, there's libraries, you know. God bless the public library.
Can someone purchase some of this gear that you have going? I mean, can someone get a shirt that's specially crafted like that?
Well, on the website, there is a Hobo Hank merchandise store. You can get Hobo Hank t-shirts. You know, and I guess the thing that put me on the map more than anything was the ladies' underwear with Hobo Hank on the front. They do sell. I have sold quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. So you can get on there and order your pair. I'll send them to you.
Valentine's Day is coming.
Valentine's Day is coming.
Now, when you started out, did you ever think you'd be selling ladies' underwear?
No, and I'll be perfectly honest. I don't think I've told this story, but I was not the one who came up with this idea. It was a friend of mine. She suggested it. She was helping me get some T-shirts printed, and she said, "You ought to have women's underwear. Women will buy your underwear." I said, I don't believe that'll ever happen. I don't think anybody wants my face on them. Lo and behold, she was right. I was wrong. So I admit it right here on television. It got me on the Edge and Christian podcast, I would say. So, things happen for a reason.
I'm just trying to think of that Valentine's evening with your special someone, and all of a sudden there's Hobo Hank.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to be a part of your special evening. So by all means, hobohank.com.
All right, we talked earlier, Hank, the big card, February 24th, brand new location, the Cesar Chavez Community Center. Blue Meanie is coming in, former ECW star, WWE star. You'll be taking him on. Tell us about some of the other wrestlers we can expect to see.
Sure. So what I was told, we have Chad Thomas will be defending the DWO Heavyweight Championship against Mosh Pit Mike in a New Mexico Lumberyard match. So that'll be a barn burner for sure. We have 2 women, both New Mexico natives, Valentina Loca and Micah Madrid.
Yeah.
So they'll both be making their DWO debut that night. I know you guys love seeing the women's matches, and to have 2 natives here doesn't get much better than that. I'm really excited. I've known Valentina at least for a while. She's been around DWO for a couple of years, and been kind of watching her out training and developing into what she is. So I'm really excited to see her live. And then, of course, we've got Manny Lemons. Will be facing off against Gino Rivera for the Full Access Championship belt. So I'm sure there's more matches to come. That's what I know so far. But.
Now, you've had a storied career. I may have one up on you. I bet you've never prayed with Gino Rivera. I have actually had that misfortune, I guess. It was very bizarre, but yeah.
I have not. I think somebody needs to pray for Gino Rivera.
Maybe. You know, it's always such a great time coming out to the matches, and yeah, you guys bring in people like Blue Meanie, Tommy Dreamer, and folks like that. But also the last couple of years, you know, you've had people, you mentioned the women wrestling, Crazy Mary Dobson comes in, and now she's in WWE as Sarah Logan, and there have been other people like that. So not only do you see the homegrown talent, the big stars come in, but the future stars as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would say, and I've wrestled for dozens and dozens. I've probably wrestled for 35, 40 different promotions in my career. DWO is the most connected to wrestling. When you want to see what the future of wrestling looks like, come out and see it. Yeah, you got guys like Manny Lemons, who's in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say his name, but Matthew Robles is at House of Hardcore. You've got, you know, we see Martin Casals over at Lucha Underground. So, yeah, I mean, our world's very connected to the wrestling world. Sarah Logan's making a huge name for herself, and we're excited to see where she goes. She deserves it. She's awesome. So you just never know who we're going to have in and who's already there that's going to be a megastar someday, a real superstar. It could be anybody.
You mentioned Matthew Robles. You guys have had this little thing going on for years now. It's 2018. Have you guys finally put this to bed?
No. I think this will probably go on to my grave, or his grave. I don't know. He's older than I am, but I got a lot more miles on me. Yeah, I think that started. If I remember, 2011 was the first time we kind of crossed paths. But you know, it's served me well. It's kept me focused. I'll put it that way. I have no idea what this year has in store. I really don't. I'll say it again. I hope it's big because, man, we sure set the bar high again. But I'm sure he's involved in this Blue Meanie matchup, and I'm sure that he and I will probably tangle throughout the rest of the year.
So the first time we had you here, I think it was 2016, and you said the goal at that time, I believe, was to get the DWO championship.
It was. Yeah.
And you definitely achieved that. Do you have goals that you're setting for 2018 at this point, or not really?
You know, I'm starting to run out of goals. I've had some things come true for me that I never even set out to do, and you know, I hate to sound cliche, but I really am. I'm just a kid that grew up in Albuquerque. You know, I wasn't connected to this business at all. I don't come from a wrestling family. This is what I wanted to do. I dreamt of doing it and made it work. But I would like to hold that belt at least one more time, and I think I would be the first 3-time world champion for DWO. I kind of have a desire to maybe try to capture the tag team titles one more time. So I held those belts once before by myself. So I would like to actually have a part.
No, hold on. You can't say I held the tag team titles by myself and then just move on to the next thing. You got to explain that a little bit.
I did. So if you do a little DWO wrestling history, I was the Extreme Champion for a very long time, and the Extreme Championship is basically where I wrestle every night on broken glass and barbed wire and all those kinds of things. I want to say it was Day of Destiny 5, if memory serves me. I faced off against Pain Inc. at the time, was Mosh Pit Mike and the Widowmaker in a handicap match. It was 1-on-2, and I beat them for the DWO heavyweight or the DWO tag team titles. So I was the tag team champions and the Extreme Champion at the same time. So I would have I had one belt around my neck, one on my waist, and I'd carry the third. So I would like to one more time carry that belt. I don't know. I have a couple partners maybe in my mind.
I was going to say by yourself or with a partner.
No, I think it might be easier with a partner. So I've got a couple guys in mind but we'll see. I don't want to call too much, but that's been in my head. And then I don't know. At this point, it's just kind of wherever the wind blows. I think things just keep happening, and good things happen for a reason. So I'm just going to let fate kind of take its course.
So we talked about this off the air. You said that when you were younger, you'd do 80 shows?
Yeah, we would do anywhere from 60 to 80 shows a year. A lot of times we would, it was not uncommon to drive to El Paso one weekend and then Amarillo the next. And then, like I mentioned to you, I'm wrestling in La Mesa, Texas this weekend. I've never been to La Mesa, Texas, but I would be hard-pressed to look at a map of West Texas and find a town that I haven't wrestled in some time in my life. So I'm actually excited to go back to my roots a little bit and see what's changed. When I went out to Lubbock, I was surprised because there was a lot of guys in the locker room I didn't know, I've never met. They were excited to meet me, some of them because of the podcast and whatnot. But there were actually guys that told me they watched me wrestle as children, 8-year-old children in the crowd somewhere in Amarillo, Texas, or in Lubbock. I'd wrestled in the Coliseum way back in the day there. And they were telling me stories. They remember me coming out in my orange jacket and all that, and it was cool for them to work a show with me. So that's pretty humbling. 2 generations now have gotten to see me do what I love to do, and that is all it is. It's what I love to do. So I have to thank them more than they need to thank me all day long.
We were talking off the air. Micah was here too, and we were talking about like UFC fighters, and then like your career, and you just mentioned these guys that were younger. Once a light goes on and the music kicks, I mean, does it still feel the same now as it did 20 years ago?
It does. In fact, I would say it actually feels better, because it can end anytime. The crowd doesn't have to react like that. And I mean, the 24th, I can go out there to a dead house, and so I again, the word humbled, I think, is the right word. I am humbled every single time that the people react to me, and I know I can't do this forever, and that it saddens you, but you have to be realistic. So I'm going to try to keep it going as long as I can, and I thank them. I thank everybody for coming out and supporting us.
I'm curious. You joke that you're old and out of shape. You have to be in decent shape to go out and do what you do at the very least. But at the same time, being Hobo Hank, you don't have to be chiseled. You don't have to be tanned. Do you ever feel like there's some resentment from some of the other guys in the locker room? Well, I just came for the tan event. I was at the gym for 3 hours. This guy just walked in, hitchhiked here, got out of the back of a truck, and everybody loves him.
Yes. No, there's definitely, I think anytime you do anything in wrestling that works, there's going to be some resentment.
Sure.
People make the mistake of thinking that, we just hand out names and hand out gimmicks, and, some things work, some things don't. It just depends on who's doing it. Mm-hmm. But yes, I was given a blessing with this character. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I actually tried to get out of it. But looking back, things happen for a reason, and this happened to me for a reason. So I'm very thankful for it, because the alternative, trying to keep up that physique, was really hard, really hard.
How does that evolve? How did Hobo Hank evolve?
Hobo Hank evolved as working for Global Championship Wrestling in El Paso, Texas. We used to film a television show there every other Thursday. We would film 2 weeks worth of programming. And I was working as the fireman. I was a heel, and I would wear a mask, a black mask, flames, and a black, kind of looked like a luchador. I was in pretty good shape, but I was a real bad character. Say a lot of terrible things on the microphone, and hit on people's girlfriends, and do all kinds of things. So the promoter came to me one night and said, "I have an idea. I'd like you to try to be a hobo." Hobo Joe or Hobo Frank. We didn't even know the name. We had no idea what to call this thing. But the idea was, put me in as a hobo, have me win the world championship belt, and just to see what it would look like for that kind of character to come to that level. I was 19 years old and on television, and I wasn't going to say no to that. So I said yes. I said, I'll do it. 2 weeks later go by, I was regretting that decision. I was afraid. I didn't want to go on television. I'd never wrestled without a mask before. So I didn't want to put my face on something that ridiculous, and I didn't want to associate it with drinking and things like that around kids. So I got cold feet. I called the promoter. Basically, he told me it's too late. We've already got a name on the posters, so you got to do it. So in 5 minutes, I dug through closets and I found this jacket. I found a shirt just like this, my jeans and my boots. Drove to Texas begrudgingly, didn't want to do it. Came out in front of a packed house, actually on the same card as Juventud Guerrera from WCW. Made my Hobo Hank debut with the intentions of sabotaging the character. and the entire place erupted, and they chanted Hobo Hank from the very first night. So
wow.
There was no turning back, and you know, again, I was wrong, and I'm thankful that it kind of just happened to me. But yeah, that is the real story of Hobo Hank.
So pretty much, you shouldn't come up with any ideas. Let everyone else do it.
Pretty much.
I mean, the panties are working. The Hobo Hank thing's working.
Yeah.
I got another idea.
Well, hell, I'll throw it out there because I can see it in your brain where you're going. If you're looking for a tag team partner, you're wearing orange. This is orange-esque. I'm not in shape.
Perfect.
You're not in shape. Hey.
I know somebody, when we first started getting involved with the DWO, he said, I'd take a chair shot. And he goes, not in the head, but I'd take one.
Sure.
And I've tried to hold him to that ever since. And you said, you know, the career is winding down. Maybe it's time to start looking at taking someone under your wing and maybe training them.
Right, my protege.
Yeah, you could have a protege. I present to you Mr. Michael Carlyle,
protege
who's ready.
ever.
I think he's ready to just take one shot. I just want to see it one time, just see exactly if he can handle it.
I'll tell you what, the number one rule in wrestling is if the people will pay to see it, it's a good idea. Right. I think the people would pay to see that.
They would. I'd pay to see it. Here, I got some money here. Here, I got a whole buck I'll throw right on the table.
What am I, a stripper?
Well, for a buck,
no, I'm not.
The family show. What'd you guys get me on?
No, Hank, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I mean, we definitely love having you on all the time, and you know, I'm glad even now that you've become an international superstar, thanks to Edge and Christian, that you still are willing to come on to Red Menace TV. But more importantly, when the kids come, you're always there to take a picture. You're always there to laugh and smile, and I know in every show that I've been to, whatever kid has his popcorn stolen, it's like a badge of honor for that kid.
They're holding it up waiting for him to take
exactly. It's just like,
it's
great.
I was going to ask you, do you show up with an empty stomach? Because you know when you come out, you're going to get a soda, you're going to get some popcorn.
I do.
I've seen people give you like goodie bags of fruit and other foods and stuff.
Trays of brownies, I get all kinds of shit. It's amazing, yeah. No, I don't need to eat. No, you know, I will always have time for the kids. That's the whole point. Yeah. You know, I've said it before, I'll say it 100 times. Wrestling, the whole point is to create moments that last, memories that people take with them. And, you know, out of everything that happened last year, although it was all amazing, I just found out 2 days ago that Tommy Dreamer and I were voted by the DWO fans as the moment of 2017. That was their favorite moment. So I would say that means more to me than anything, because the fans that paid to see it are basically just telling me that they're going to remember that. And so thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Don't forget, folks, it's not Day of Destiny. What's it called again?
It's Pain Rising.
Pain Rising.
February 24th, Saturday, February 24th, Cesar Chavez Community Center, 7505 Catherine Avenue Southeast. You can still get tickets. They are going fast at holdmyticket.com.
And also, it's hobohank.com.
Correct.
And you could put a Hobo Hank's face on a pair of your lady's panties for that special moment. hobohank.com. We'll be back on Red Menace TV.
Thanks, guys.
Cool.
By corner, hits the brakes, and a beautiful dish to Aspas, and she beats the...
That's some space. Throw it to him.
Oyeku.
Go.
He's got to go quick. One to play. He's got to let it fire! And Arroyo steps up and blocks it to end the game.
With a steal. Rivas thought about the three ball there. Oh, and what a pass. What a pass by Maya Rivas. Phillips, a handoff to Munn, and he puts it down. Munn's gonna go on the baseline, and he's gonna throw it. showtime!
For the rebound.
Oh, there
Hits
we
it
go.
ahead. Here comes
There it is. Throw it down, big fella. Throw it down.
one time, Jordan.
Sam Molina, number 11, is also checked in for 3. And here comes Munn. Put it down. Watch this again, Steve. Jalen Munn. That was a great shot right there. Wheeling in. Pump fake. Castillo. Get it out. Arroyo with a block, and it's a 3-on-1 the other way. Alley-oop. Put it down. Christy May's restaurant is locally owned and operated with a family-friendly atmosphere. Their array of homemade comfort food is just like your mom's. From homemade chicken pot pie to their famous chicken salad on a croissant, Christy May's even offers lunch catering. Christy May's restaurant is located at 1400 San Pedro Drive Northeast. They offer drive-in, carry-out, and catering. Open Monday through Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Congratulate our first customers at our brand new facility right here at Gala Chevrolet, the Jose's. And how was your experience?
It was awesome and great.
What'd you end up buying?
We bought a 2018 Chevy Silverado.
And how would you say the experience was overall?
I bought all my cars here at Gala Chevrolet, and we couldn't wait for the new facility open, and all the people really treated us well.
Well, on behalf of Gala Chevrolet, we say thank you, and we'll see you soon right here at Gala Chevrolet.
Locally loved restaurants like Farina Pizzeria, Farina Alto, and the Artichoke Cafe are the perfect venue for your next event. Farina Alto has traditional Italian food, plus handcrafted cocktails in a beautiful Northeast Heights location. Farina Pizzeria with a downtown vibe, amazing affordable wines, and local beer. And the Artichoke Cafe has set the standard for casual fine dining since 1989. Visit our family of restaurants and see what fine dining is all about.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all, or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, #life change will occur.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Hey, New Mexico, come check out the newly remodeled guest rooms at the new Wyndham Albuquerque Hotel and Conference Center, featuring 309 rooms, 30,000 square feet of meeting space. New Mexico's only indoor water park featuring the Wave Runner. 2,200 square foot fitness center with hydro massage chairs. Also enjoy breakfast at our new Manzanita Grill and watch your favorite team play at Altitude Sports Bar and Grill. It's all at Wyndham Albuquerque Hotel and Conference Center.
Terry Cosper Insurance Agency is a proud partner with Proview Networks and a proud supporter of New Mexico high school athletics. Terry's been a local farmer's agent for over 20 years for auto, home, life, and business insurance. Just like high school sports are important, so are teen drivers. For more information, call Terry or one of his licensed staff members at 898-5556. Quotes are available for you.
Welcome to the place where we talk about people getting punched in the face. This is Cage Minds. I'm Mika Frankl. Joining me this week here at the desk, we have amateur mixed martial artist Ozzy Chavez from Judgment MMA. Before we get to talking to Ozzy, though, we have some things to talk about. There was UFC Fight Night 125 from Brazil, took place. Fox Sports 1 for the main card, FS2, the whole lot. There in the poster you can see Jackson Wink fighter John Dodson. Unfortunately, the gentleman next to him, Pedro Munoz, missed weight by 4 pounds. The bout was canceled and has, though, officially been rescheduled for UFC 222 in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, Dodson did not compete. We had some controversial decisions also on this fight night. Tim Means, in my opinion, gets robbed of a victory. And in a controversial decision, very close, Lyoto Machida just happens to get the hometown favor in a decision over Eric Anders. Got a highlight, though, from the best knockout of the event to run for you right now. The body kick from Thiago Santos, it hits Anthony Smith in the liver. Smith doing what he can to try to regroup. Just too much ground and pound. These big hammer fists from the side. And eventually, referee Mark Goddard jumps in for the stoppage. A big victory, his 4th knockout in a row, 4th win in a row for Thiago Santos, who has, with that win, tied Anderson Silva's middleweight record with 8 knockouts in the UFC middleweight division. Santos says he wants a big matchup next and has called for a matchup with former world champion Chris Weidman. I'd love to see that one take place. We also have some UFC action coming up this weekend. To remind you guys, Fight Pass prelims, FS1 prelims, and a pay-per-view main card with the co-main event in the heavyweight division. Australia's favorite fighter, Mark Hunt, takes on Curtis Blades. Blades, the young prospect, trying to get the biggest win of his career. You have the interim middleweight title on the line. Yoel Romero faces Luke Rockhold, the former Strikeforce and UFC champion. The winner, most likely, will get to fight world champion Robert Whittaker, who is recovering from a plethora of injuries and a big health scare. Now, joining us, we're going to get to talk to Ozzy Chavez. Right there is the Jackson Wink Series, and that takes place February 24th out at Buffalo Thunder. 2 undefeated fighters in the main event, Jess Martinez, Roy Cicito. Ozzy Chavez is going to be on that card, so let's talk to him now. Thanks for joining us this week, Ozzy. How you doing?
Good, and you, sir?
I'm doing good. So first off, what did you think of UFC Fight Night 125? A couple controversial decisions. What did you think of Tim Means, Sergio Moraes?
I think Tim Means got robbed. He put out the more output. He had the bigger shots. I think if you look at the shot count, it was way ridiculous a number. And I think, I just feel like the UFC or something has it out for Timmy because he put it on him for sure.
2 bad decisions in a row going against Means. I do believe, though, in the back, they're going to tell Means that the UFC felt he won that fight. That'll be moving forward. It's an odd circumstances when the judges rob you. Also an odd circumstance was the main event. Very close. I thought Anders did enough to warrant the decision victory. The shots that he landed were devastating. They were obviously showing effect to Machida, busted Machida up down the center of his head in the 3rd round and continued to apply pressure in the 4th round. I thought he won the fight. The judges did not feel the same way. What did you think of that main event?
I agree. I think Anders landed the bigger shots. He had Lyoto scared for most of the fight. Lyoto did land more, but I don't think they were anything significant like Anders was. He was still coming forward, still pushing the pace, still looking for the finish. And I think Lyoto was fighting a little more scared and point system more than actually going out for the finish.
For more of my thoughts about what happened at UFC Fight Night 125, go to CageMinds.com. Check out the Cage Minds Uncensored podcast. I really let my feelings be known. But back to talking about February 24th. We got the Jackson's MMA series up at Buffalo Thunder. You're going to be in action against Mark Matthew McDill. So Let's talk about actually last year first, though. We gave you at CageMinds.com our Amateur Knockout of the Year awards at Jackson Wink Fight Night 2. An uppercut put down Daniel Nieto. What was that fight like for you?
Oh, it was awesome. Going into the camp, I really was watching some of Daniel's fights and seeing that he was really wide. So I went out there really patient, trying to pick my shots good. And I knew if it stayed standing, I'd have a good chance to finish him. He caught me some good ones in the beginning. I knew he had some power, so I had to just weather it a little bit. And when I got my moment, it was time.
How stunned were you? I know there was I believe it was a right hand. It looked like it got you in the temple. It did stagger you for a moment.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was like a little flash, wake up real quick, like, hey, you're fighting, so wake up and get your butt going. So it was nice. It wasn't anything that I haven't been hit with before or any harder than I've been hit in the gym, but it was definitely one of those wake your butt up and start moving.
And then, could you believe that performance got you a recognition for a Knockout of the Year?
Oh, it was awesome. When I seen it, I just got out of the gym. I was, me and one of my friends, Wes from the gym, we were talking about it, and we were like, hey, I can't believe you didn't get nominated for any knockout thing or anything. I was like, yeah, I know. So I walk out, and I look on Cage Minds, and I was like, whoa, look, Wes, I got nominated, and I won. So it was really cool. It was an honor to see my hard work pay off and other people seeing it too.
Talking about, you said you're walking out of the gym. Talk about a little bit about the gym that you're at. Rio Rancho's based, Judgment MMA. That's where you started, right? That's where all of your martial arts training has went at?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've been at Judgment for about 6 years. I took a little break from 2012 till about 2017, little time off, and got right back into it. But yeah, I've been there since I started. I had my first cage fight with them, and it's just home to me. It's a real family, good environment with great people. It's not a big gym like the Jacksons or Fit or anything like that, but we got a bunch of guys that really push each other to be great, and I love it.
What led you to starting MMA?
So when I was younger, I was always like eager to fight and like wrestle and stuff. So my mom put me in wrestling when I was younger. And when I was around 9 years old, my mom passed away. So after she passed away, I really wanted to do something to honor her, and she believed that I could fight, and I chose to fight. I started boxing and doing MMA, and it just felt right, like I was doing something to honor her in the right way.
How much of a presence then do those thoughts of her play in for you fight night?
Oh, so much. More than anything, when I'm walking out, I always feel just like she's there, even though I know she's not, but I just feel her there. And when I step in the cage, I know I have someone there watching over me, and it's really motivational. Like, to me, me and my brother and sister are real close, and we just all see it like it's a cool thing to have.
What's it been like for you progressing through the gym so much that you're now a coach at the gym?
It's nice. It's nice. Honestly, when I first started, I really never had any intentions of starting to coach or anything, but I started working with the kids with Coach Scott a little bit before he left, and it was like so cool, and just to see other kids coming to you, asking you questions like, hey, what do you do here, what in this situation? And when I actually got asked to coach, it was like, wow, that's awesome. So I've been working with the kids program a lot. We do grappling and stand-up. I'm more of the stand-up coach for the kids class, and it's such an honor just to see the kids progress and be so excited. We had some kids fight or spar this weekend, and it was really nice to see that happen, and just to see how excited they are to spar against other kids that they're not used to sparring in the gym. So it was nice.
Since you started working with people and doing the coaching side of the sport, has your view on the sport changed when you're watching it? Have you started noticing things, and has it been kind of a different mental switch?
Oh yeah, like I was talking to some of the other corner guys a couple weeks ago, and just from working with kids, it like changes your whole aspect on being a smarter fighter. Instead of just going in there, I'm just gonna go and knock this guy out. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna move around, I'm gonna pick my shots, and you really get to work with other kids, so you really get to see every aspect of it, and it's nice. It's a cool experience.
Now, another thing I wanted to bring up with you, Ozzy, is been on fight cards before that you might want to attempt flyweight. Are you comfortable at 135 right now? Have you made that decision, or are you still in this amateur phase of your career searching for where your weight class is?
So the flyweight I'm definitely going to. I didn't really want to cut too much weight in my amateur fights. I'm not getting paid anything, so I mean, it's like I don't want to risk my body right now, but I'm going to be planning on making my pro debut April or May, and when I go pro, I'm definitely going to start fighting at flyweight. That'll be my weight from here on out, but just didn't want to kill my body to make 125 for amateur fights when I could fight a bigger guy and get a little more experience and get used to fighting those bigger guys. So when I do cut down, it's just another.
What's the motivation then to make that change as you're at 35 now? What's the motivation to try 25 as a pro?
Well, I can make 25s pretty good. The only, I guess, motivation I have is now I'll be making some money for it, and it's not just fighting for scraps and nothing. So, I mean, there's really no motivation behind it. It's just I feel like 125s is my weight, and I feel like I could comfortably fight there, be the bigger, stronger, faster fighter at that weight. So I want to fight at 25s for sure when I go pro.
Coming up on the 24th, it's going to be, again, at 135 pounds, taking on Mark Matthew McDill. I believe you guys have similar records, both 3-2 right now. Do you know anything about your opponent?
Nothing, just that he trains out of Jackson's, and that's pretty much it. I've looked up to see if I could find anything on him, and there was nothing on him, so just his tapeology, and that's it.
There's still, in this amateur phase, you get a lot of that. Once you turn pro, it's a little easier to find, to scout, to look at your opponents. So how have you handled that with your amateur experience? What do you go into a fight expecting then when you don't know who you're fighting or how they perform?
I always expect a good fight. I expect some tough opponents to come, but the main thing I focus on is me, is what I'm going to go out there and do, and my game plan, and what I want to get done in the ring. And in all reality, all I want to do is make it to where I'm leading the dance the whole time and not giving them a chance to do what they've worked on, because there's great fighters out there, but if you have the right game plan, the right coaches behind you, and you go out there with a strategy and you implement that, I think it'll play out pretty good. And that's what I focus on. And right now, with no videos or nothing, is just, you know, working on what I could work on and what I could control. And that's my effort and my attitude towards the fight. And if I have good attitude and good effort, I think I'll play out perfect.
What would you say are your trademarks of your fight style, of your game?
Oh, I love to stand up. I would say Thai boxing or kickboxing would be my top, and I'm solid on the ground too. I know I haven't really been on there much in my fights, but when it happens, I'll show that I'm really solid on the ground. I love it. I've wrestled since I was a kid, but stand-up is the best. I think it gives the fans what they paid for, the excitement of going out there and fighting your heart out. And so I like to keep it standing and finish the fights.
You got the knockout at Jackson Wink Fight Night 2. Can you describe what that feeling was like, scoring a knockout?
Oh, it was awesome. Like, when I first hit him with the knee and I put him in the clinch and we went up against the cage and I hit him with the first uppercut, oh man, it was like, it was nice. It was the best feeling in the world. And when the ref's pulling you off, it's just like, wow, this is, and then all your family and friends are yelling and screaming. It was like the coolest experience.
What's been an unexpected but positive experience or part of this martial arts journey that you've endeavored on?
I would say it would be just like the family environment that I have at the gym. Like, I have some rough days sometimes, and I go to the gym and it's just like, wow, all that's gone. Like, working with the kids and having that brotherhood with everyone you bleed and sweat with in the gym, and I think that would be the best thing.
There's been a lot of time and effort spent in that gym, perfecting your craft, working on it to get ready for this pro run that you want to make. What does the 24th then mean to you, almost a culmination of your amateur time?
I think it's just all the work I've put in to get to where I want to be, and it's nowhere where I want to be. I still have a lot of goals and dreams I want to accomplish, but it's the first step towards my pro career and something that I've always dreamed of, and it's going to happen soon, and it's awesome.
What are you thinking when you're heading to the cage? What goes through your mind right before competition?
I'm always thinking about my mom on the way to the cage, just like how proud she'd be if she was here, and my family and just everyone there. The whole work I've put in that camp, and just like how no one's put in the work like I've put in, and I just put it in my head that I've worked harder than anyone, and I'm going to continue working that hard. And it's just mostly my mom, though, a lot.
What do you attribute the work ethic part of your personality to?
I would have to say my mom also. She's a single mom. She raised us 3 kids on her own. She would go from one job to another one, and then she opened her own daycare finally, and she always had the work ethic of something that I've always dreamed of having, and she gave everything she had to keep us safe and healthy and make sure we eat and take baths, and she really motivated me to be the man I am today.
And now, continuing what you're doing, you really feel a sense of honoring her memory with it?
Yes, sir.
Come fight night, when you're out there, when you're actually performing, are you one of those guys, can you pick out your corner? Do you hear the instructions that's coming? Are you a game plan fighter? Tell us about fight night for you.
So when I first started, I was like, I'm going out there and I'm fighting. I didn't hear anything. I didn't listen to anyone. It was just like, I'm going out there and I'm going to go get this done. But as I've been fighting a lot more, and the last 2 fights that I've had, it's more coming to me to where I could hear the voices in my corner and hear what they're saying. And now it's not just, oh, let's go out there and knock them out. It's like, hey, we got a game plan for this. It's not we're going to go and finish him in the first round. It's I'm going to beat him over the time of the fight, and if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, we're going to go out there to patiently pick this guy apart instead of going out there and biting down on your mouthpiece and just swinging. So at first, no, it was just go out there, bite your mouthpiece, swing all you got, and hope for the finish. But as you start progressing and you start maturing as a fighter, you start to realize that the smarter fighters win, and you got to be able to listen to your corner because they see everything. There's stuff that happens in the fight that your corners see, and you're too busy in the fight that you don't see it.
Coming off of the Battleground live sparring that we were at last weekend, as a coach at that event, did you understand now what your coaches felt your first fight when you wanted to just bite down and throw down?
Yeah.
Can you understand now?
Oh yeah, I was like I was talking to you earlier, like it's like such a new experience because you're like, you see stuff and you want to call it out, and the kids, like, they don't know, they just want to go out there and kick butt. So it's like they just go out there, and like now I understand when Coach Scott's like, you make me lose hair. I'm like, now I know, yep, because I was out there and the kids did great, but there was stuff you call out, and like my brother fought or sparred also, and yeah, I was calling out stuff and he didn't do one combination I called out. And at the end of the fight, I'm like, you need to listen to me, like, come on. And then I go home and I'm like, well, that's what I used to do, so I guess I can be mad.
Is it funny to feel it come full circle like that?
Oh yeah, it's totally different. Like I was talking to Scott the other day, and I texted him and I was like, you know, it's like so different. Like you think it would just be, oh, well, I fight, so I know how to do this, but it's a whole different experience, and it's such a great thing to do.
With that different outlook now in the fight game, come the 24th, win or lose, is there certain things you look at saying, I want to get done, or I want to perform a certain way now?
Yeah. I mean, win or lose, you always want to grow as a fighter. You always want to take it as a lesson and grow instead of just oh, you know, I lost, and mope around. So everything now is a lesson. I mean, it's all experience. So you take it as like stuff you need to work on, win or lose, and you always want to go to improve instead of staying stagnant.
What is that intangible about Ozzy Chavez that's going to make him a successful pro fighter?
Oh, I work hard. I push myself day in and day out. I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to evolve. I've been going down to Fit a little bit to get some sparring down over there with their fighters and trying to work over there in elevation boxing up with Joe and just trying to get new concepts instead of just staying in the same environment. So I think my intangible would be I'm really coachable and really hungry to fight.
January 24th, Jackson's MMA series, a great card of pro and amateur action at the Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino. Again, this weekend you have UFC 221 from Australia. Tune in on pay-per-view for the main card. Get over to cageminds.com. We have articles updating the Jackson's MMA series, our Route to Glory event that's taking place from Legacy Boxing March 17th, and also a 12-fight announcement for American Fight League's Southwest Brawl 7, that's March 31st. You also head over to cageminds.com. Check out Cage Minds MMA show on YouTube. We got some interviews up this week. We have Maurice the Hulk Jackson, who's going to be heading up to Sparta Combat League this weekend to fight UFC vet Melvin Gillard. We also have King of the Cage title challenger Cynthia Arceo, and we will soon be publishing an interview with King of the Cage junior flyweight champion Tim Sosa. So check all that out, and in a moment you'll be back with more Red Menace TV.
Hey everyone, Adam Deal here with Proview Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of Proview Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean. Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
We had Ozzy Chavez on with Mika Frankl. We had Hobo Hank, Combat Sports all day today.
Yeah.
We're quickly out of time, but it would be wrong to not mention our other MMA combatant, First Stringer, Joe First Stringer, last night for that basketball game.
Well, we should probably call him by his correct name, Joe First Stinger.
I like First Stringer.
I know, but
you know why? First Stringer.
Well, see, I'd like to call you Bob, but it wouldn't be right. your name is Leroy. Things got a little testy at the end of the Lobo game on Tuesday night.
Nobody was mad. They were just a little testy.
Yeah. Boise State came back, got the 73-71 win. The Lobos had a chance. They missed the shot as time was winding down. I think Joe was trying to commit a foul to stop the clock before time expired. But he shoved the poor Boise State kid like a third of the way across the court. No punches were thrown, I don't believe. The benches did empty. Time had already expired, so there was no technicals or anything handed out, although I'm certain the Mountain West Conference will review the tape and all that. And Coach Weir was very upset after the game that it happened and said, that there may be discipline from his end as well. and Coach Weir said this, so I'm just basically repeating what he said. A game that was that good that goes out to the wire, it's a shame it ends that way, but it does.
Yeah, as a fan, I don't think it's bad because we haven't had a team to hate for a while. I mean, I know San Diego State, New Mexico State, and all that, but I'm talking a real team to hate, and it's good to have that back.
But why do you hate Boise State? Because Joe Firstinger pushed the kid down?
Yeah, because there was a scrum. There was a mix-up.
There wasn't a scrum. Well, there was a scrum after the fact.
It was a shoulder scrum, but I mean, you know.
After Joe ran across the court and pushed the kid down.
That's okay. You got to hate somebody.
The kid didn't poke him in the eye.
It's like this. We just had Hobo Hank on. You know you have to have a baby face. Everybody has to have a heel.
I got news for you. Joe's the heel.
I like being a heel.
But you can't hate on the baby face.
Sure you can.
Dude, your logic is all messed up.
Come on, dude. Everybody loves Stone Cold Steve Austin. He wasn't a baby face.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he
was.
Tell you what, we're actually out of time. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we can talk a little bit about Lobo football. Signing days today. Go to golobos.com. Get the rest of the information. Until next week, God bless you all.